going on, pukes of the YouTube nether sphere? Are you in the mood again for another brain smasher collection? How you been doing? To be honest, I haven't really been in the best of moods since a particular day, November 6th. And that day has just really realigned a lot of my perceptions. I don't want to talk a whole lot about that, but I've been in a crappy mood. I've been feeling like I am inundated with ads every time I look at my phone, every time I want to watch something on my TV. Ads. And so I just haven't really been quite feeling like being on YouTube helping someone else make money with ads. I did do a collection update, all vinyl, on my Patreon the other day, so if you want to check that out, you can for $6.66 a month. And if you do that, you'll get access to tons and tons and tons of content and video that I've been putting there for many, many, many years. But this here, in my way of twisting my motivation to actually shoot a video, is going to be a stack of recent acquisitions that I think you will most likely not be interested in checking out. And that's my negotiation with helping Google make money on my monetized content. So anyways, let's get into that, shall we? What we're listening to in the background is Sororicide, the entity, plus the demo as a bonus. Yeah, you know, it's a bootleg, of course. That's that. So a lot of, I don't know, I bought these because I want to like them, and I do like many of them. In fact, some of these I am extremely emphatic about, but I don't think they are really the kind of thing that most of you guys are going to want to dive into. I don't know, I just feel like I don't get a lot of back and forth from you guys about some of the more interesting records that I talk about on my channel. I don't know, maybe it's me. Maybe it's the bias that I'm seeing, because my mood is shit lately. So, anyways, I also have a cold, and I'm not able to partake in family Thanksgiving activities, so here I am on Thanksgiving night, shooting a fucking video about albums that you probably aren't going to listen to. But you should! You fucking should listen to Doedsmaghird, their new full-length, Omniverse Consciousness. I am still very much digesting this. This is an album of many layers, much depth and textures, and cerebral, buried elements that reveal themselves to you upon deep concentration. Now, if you're not aware, Doedsmaghird is a, I don't know, would you call it a side project? I don't know, but Doedsmaghird Vikotnik has partnered with Camille, who I think still plays in another project. The name will probably come to me the second I stop shooting said video, but there the two are. And I believe the relationship here started when Cam covered a Doedsmaghird song on his solo album that came out 6 years ago or something like that, which Pat from Ground Zero Salem sent me. So this is a Peaceville debut for the outfit, and it is, I think the idea here is to kind of go backward from where Black Medium Current was, and maybe kind of somewhere between 666 International and the Umbro Omega album, and kind of take a sidestep somewhere from there and go maybe more in an electronic direction, but get more vicious and ferocious, and maybe reclaim some of that black metal identity that they had. That's just like a surface, one time through. I probably listened to this maybe like 1.5 times so far, and that's just the vibe that I get so far. And so it'll be an interesting seed just to really digest everything that's in here. It's clear that both of these guys are artists that have no boundaries, and Doedsmaghird is a staple at this point that is known for having very few boundaries. And so this is like, I think, an exploration into seeing even further where they can go by abandoning any boundaries or reclaiming some territory that they already, you know, are known for. Anyways, it's a lot to take in. It is thoughtful, it is artistic, it is wild. I'm honestly kind of surprised that Peaceville went the mile to put this out at all, but on CD and vinyl, and I think they're even playing shows. Not that I think Peaceville like shouldn't be putting out great stuff, but I just kind of think of the Peaceville crowd, not even just the crowd, but like the folks who run Peaceville and have for 30 years now. They're 40? I don't even know. You know, they've been around. They're like one of the oldest metal labels, and so you would think they would be a little less eager to be promoting and putting money behind something like this. So that's awesome to hear and see that something like this is going on. So that's Omniverse Consciousness. Do check this out. It is wild. It's fascinating. It is one of the biggest excitements I get out of music now that I have 4,000 albums in my house, is the ones that are breaking new ground, new territory. At the end of the day, that's what I want music to do. That's what gets the most excitement out of me anyways. Here is an album that my friend Dave bequeathed to me into my collection, and I picked it up not knowing anything about it, but looked at it in amazement. And he said, how about some black metal with some saxophones? And yeah, when you say that to me every day, I will say yes. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Okay, the band is called Necromantical Invocation. And, oh, come on, other languages. So this is a Greek outfit of a person who also plays in Career. And this is a solo project, and I believe this is an EP. I'm not sure. It's got 4 songs on it, and I have mixed feelings about it. So there is some saxophone, maybe even some trumpet, horns. There's horns. Let's just say there's horns. So Greek black metal. Gosh, there's just a real big elephant in the room on this album, and it is the fact that one of the tracks, and I can't remember which one it is at this point, is it like 15 minutes, maybe 18 minutes of a bass solo. A bass solo. And once you endure something like 11 minutes of the song, it finally starts to unwind and becomes something more palatable. It becomes a song. He starts adding in other, vocals, symphonic things. I'm not sure how he managed to piece all this together, but eventually the song does blossom out into something where it has some saxophone on it, and I think it winds up being somewhat tasteful. However, I just have a strong disagreement with making me sit through 11 minutes of mindless bass guitar meandering that doesn't go anywhere until 11 minutes into the song. And for me, that very fact just makes me forget everything else about this EP or album. I remember thinking, this is okay, until I got to the bass track, and I was driving to work, and I was just like, I am going to sit through this no matter how long it is, and wait it out. And at the 11-minute mark, I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe this fucking guy is still going. What is going to happen with the song? And, did I fall for it? I don't know, but that's it. I believe this guy has a couple, maybe a full length or two as well. So Necromantical Black Metal Sorcery, Necromantical Invocation is the project. It's got kind of some horror Italian kind of stuff going on there, but I believe he's Greek. So that's that. If there, from what I remember, the black metal that's on it is kind of like late 80s black metal kind of stuff. I'm going to get into some black metal for realsies here. So if you've been following closely at all with me, especially on social media, I've been freaking out about a band called Atrox. And the demo that came out in 2001 called Infest and Desecrate. This is one of the best black metal discoveries I had made in recent years. It's only on YouTube. I made myself a little bootleg of it. I've been listening to the shit out of it. In fact, it has reawakened my love of black metal, but in a way where I need more things that sound like this, and if it doesn't sound like this, then I'm not gonna love it as much as this. I fucking am so amazed by this Atrox Infest and Desecrate demo. And the members kind of mysterious. There's, I don't know, Discogs has like different lineup info than Metal Archives does, but from what I've surmised, it seems like he played in, or at least one of the guys played in Eternal Majesty, which is a band I'm not really familiar with at all. And so this is an Eternal Majesty release called From War to Darkness, and it came out on Battle Scurs 005. And let's see here, do I have, make a hot point. Oh, I don't have it up here, shit. Well, if you're a Demoncy fan, you might recognize this skull from the CD version of one of their albums, I can't remember. Within the Sylvan Realms of Frost, maybe that one. Anyways, this is from Majesty. It is mechanical, cold, French black metal. It is very monochromatic. And like usually, look, I'm not going to say this isn't forgettable, overlookable. You wouldn't be wrong to just overlook this most of the time. But the riffs on this album, I can see a through line between this and this Eternal Majesty. I see it. I can hear it, and I like it. But I think the guy only does... Now, are you going to sit here and tell me that these are two different people? I don't know. On here, I think he's credited as Traumatic Hell Strings. But anyways, good songwriting, decent riffs. It's pretty good. It's really, really nasty, fast, and raw. And just the way that they structure songs on both of these releases is really, really smart. And it's something that I'm trying. So I've been playing in a black metal band, helping write songs with those guys. I've been playing drums for 4 rehearsals now. We're trying to write songs, and my goal is just like copy Atrox as much as possible. We haven't quite gotten to that point yet, but I'm just like, getting my chops back down. I haven't played drums for 10 years or so now. Just getting back into the swing of things and playing and writing and just like thinking parts and writing drum parts in my head and stuff. It's been fun. And until I find a different motivation, my motivation right now is to sound like Atrox and write stuff that sounds like Atrox, because fuck, I am just focused so much on black metal in that realm. So another gift bequeathed from my friend Dave was this Ancient Rites album. So I think I picked up, what I didn't know at the time was a bootleg of this earlier, actually I think it was last Christmas, at my new honey hole. This is a Soul Cellar reissue, and I kind of I haven't listened to this band very much at all, and I went into this thinking this was a certain kind of thing. the general impression that I've gotten with Ancient Rites over the years is that they've kind of run the gamut of styles, but as far as I understand, it's kind of like a historical, pagan, kind of Vikingish sort of black metal kind of thing, generally. This one threw me for a loop, though. The Diabolic Serenades. This one, upon, I think, maybe 2 listens or so, it's kind of clumsy drum machine death metal. I don't know, death metal because it's down-tuned, but it's very simplistic and kind of monochromatic, minimalistic, in a way that I think it does deserve somewhat being categorized as black death metal, in a way. Just in the way that would be an acceptable, category for, I don't know when this originally came out, 92, 3, somewhere around there, but I didn't really care for it. So maybe I'll come back to this some other time and enjoy it. Kind of surprised Soul Sailor reissued that. It's just, they've been doing a lot of like classic black metal stuff. In fact, they just did this Modanus Imperium thing, which is awesome. But that just kind of didn't really fit in what I've been seeing them put out over the last decade or so. Another wholly different kind of realm. This was also kind of a challenge. Didn't really do what I wanted it to. So, a couple years ago, my good friend gave me his copy of Rulers of the Wasteland by Chastain. And I think I had kind of like a fleeting familiarity with the album and the band. And it didn't really leave a mark. It was just like, yeah, thrashy, power metal kind of stuff, whatever. I've been way more, I guess, familiar and craving certain kinds of 80s stuff over the last 5 years or so. And sometimes I really get in a groove where that's what I want. And so there's bands that I have heard and think I have, a fleeting familiarity with, but upon revisiting them, I go, holy shit, this is totally up my alley. I love this. So, when he gave me Rulers of the Wasteland by Chastain, I was just floored. I'm still like, I can't believe the energy those guys put into that performance. I can't believe the energy that Leather Leone puts into the screaming and singing. She was such a talented singer. Still alive, still, I think, active, maybe. Chastain, such a tremendous songwriter. The dry, echoey recording of that album, just absolute stunner. I'm going to call that album a 10 out of 10. A classic fucking record. So it was time to delve more into the Chastain catalog. So I went backwards to the debut, and Mystery of Illusion is what I picked up. Now, being that Rulers of the Wasteland was my first foray into the band, hard thing to hold a candle to. This is just, all those things, but just taken from a 10, maybe down to like a 6.5 or so. I honestly expected to like this quite a bit more than I did. Maybe I just wasn't really in the mood for it. I don't know. What do you guys think? This versus Rulers of the Wasteland? Am I crazy? I think this is maybe a little better than half the album that was. But whatever. There's a couple of bonus tracks on here. Dive Bomb is a label that I've known about for years, but the stuff that I've been listening to and looking into and listening to on YouTube and stuff, I keep coming back to Dive Bomb. I keep finding out that they've been doing these releases or reissues of stuff that is awesome that I'd never heard of. So like, I can scroll through the Dive Bomb catalog and find stuff like, yeah, I don't know what any of this is, but when I go hunting for, 80s, 90s tech, thrash, power metal kind of stuff, I wind up finding cool demos, especially on YouTube. And then I find out Dive Bomb has done a reissue. So, I don't know. I need to listen to it more. Didn't really love it. But curious to know your thoughts, I suppose. So here's an album I was excited to blindly order because I love them so much. And the band is Dusk. They have a new album out called Dissolve into Ash. Saw it was out on Dark Descent / Dark Symphonies. And I said, no question. New album, order it. Let's go. Got it in, and I maybe made it... That's a cool fucking picture. I probably made it about 3 songs in and I turned it off. I heard some really dumb, sort of palm-muted, nu metal kind of riffs going on, and I was out. Might have to put it on again some other time when I'm in a Doom mood. In fact, I was watching an S&T Young video today where he was playing some Doom, stuff like Chemist. I've always overlooked Chemist, but it kind of sounded cool. Might check it out. Daylight Dies sounded kind of cool. Never really listened to them. But we will see. This Dissolved to Ash was a fucking flop for me. I was bummed. Yeah. I don't know. I know they've been inactive for quite a while, but I just thought this is how it's got to be a winner, right? I don't think they have their chief songwriter that made Majestic Thou in Ruin such a good record anymore, but I just thought as long as it, you know, sounds somewhat like the old stuff, it's got to be good, right? That wasn't right, but that was the first. So here is another one. Let's see. I now have this on 3 formats, if I'm not mistaken. Mycorrhizae with the Great Filtration on Dawnbreed Records. So this is, if I was going to do a year-end list, and I'll tell you what, I might do one on Blue Sky, I'm thinking about it. That might be the only list I do, and it's going to be a half-assed list. This actually came out in 2023 on cassette, LP, toward the very end of 2023, maybe 24, but now it's on CD. So I bought it 3 times. That ought to tell you that I like supporting my friend Travis, who was in this band. He used to play in False, who some of you may remember. There's a hilarious video from this album, but this is black metal, plain and simple. It is not really all that different, I would say. It's not typical, but there isn't a lot of like outlandish, challenging things about it. It's blasty drums. In fact, I cannot believe how fast the drums are on this thing. Live drummer, and the guitars just have a very, very unique characteristic to them. It's usually got like a twin harmony kind of thing going on. Lots of trem picking really, really, really fast. And I just love how unique and characteristic the songwriting is, and the way that they craft their songs and the way that their riffs are just really cleverly constructed. It's really unique. There's nothing I've ever heard that is quite like their guitar playing. So it's an interesting study in some pretty unique guitar work, some really, really great fast playing. I just think the vocals are kind of forgettable. They're kind of just like an afterthought sort of thing. It's almost, to me, it's just kind of like a and like whatever. I don't need the vocals to be amazing or like super out in front and performative, but when they are like so whatever, I just kind of go, gosh, that's really distractingly like mediocre in a way. All right, something completely different. Maybe one of my top albums of the year, if only because I haven't really paid that much attention to a lot of what's coming out this year. I've just been kind of like dabbling in stuff that I think I would like, and I love this band. Their Abject Offerings album, absolute banger. And then the one that comes after that with the guy's face all melted up or whatever. But these guys are still banging out albums, and it was a review by former Grizzly Butts, now Mystification Zine, that convinced me that this is gonna hold up. So the band is Mercyless, and the new album is called Those Who Reign Below. Now look at the cover. No one's gonna buy this based on the cover alone, so forget this. So these guys were a death thrash band from back in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. So Abject Offerings came out, fuck, I can just grab it probably, Mercyless, yes. Do you have a number on you? Really, really stoked to have this reissue. 91, yes. So if you haven't heard of Abject Offerings, do yourself a favor. This is so good. But from here to Those Who Reign Below, we've got way more death metal and way more Morbid Angel. Now, I don't know what this band would be without Morbid Angel. They sound a lot like Covenant era Morbid Angel, which is maybe my favorite death metal album of all time. So I will take more of that all day. So this is also really in line with your, like, Massacre has a couple albums, or Massacre? Massacre? I think it's Massacre. Has a couple records that sound quite a bit like Morbid Angel. So this is kind of a French school of old school bands who must have just had their lives completely rearranged by Morbid Angel, like who hasn't? And they're still playing like awesome death metal to this day. So this is kind of like a study in like what Morbid Angel might have sounded like if they would have followed up Covenant with something that wasn't Domination. It certainly doesn't have like the David Vincent sort of like discernible vocals. Like it doesn't have like I'm gonna be a sexy frontman kind of thing and ruin a lot of the album kind of thing. I think Covenant was like just right before David Vincent started to like be a fucking loser. This is fun though. I think this is really, really great. It pummels, doesn't let up. Just lots of great riffs on here. But I would not blame anybody for just overlooking that album cover and just thinking whatever. This is there's a million things like this. It's pretty well done when you really like dig into it and look at it, but I don't know. You've got to really try harder to stand out in the crowd when this is what you're putting out there. That said, though, it's a super solid release by a band that has impressively not lost much of their steam since 1991. Okay, couple more, maybe the most challenging ones of this video, but I assure you, I think these are phenomenal releases. I picked this up on vacation a couple of weeks ago back in Revival Records in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, I believe it was. So the band is called Estradasphere with Palace of Mirrors. Metal, not really. Here's a picture of the band. So this is kind of from that school of bands from Southern California who are kind of born from the same tree of Mr. Bungle, Secret Chiefs 3. Bands who like probably grew up on Anthrax and Slayer and the Melvins and all that, but also wanted to learn how to play guitar in like a lot of Eastern schools of songwriting styles and incorporate a lot of those strings and guitars and tons of other instrumentation into their work. That is what makes me love Secret Chiefs 3 a whole lot. Probably if there was a band I was going to get a tattoo of, Secret Chiefs 3 is a band that I love enough to say like I will take that band, I will take my love for that band to the grave. So this is kind of like Secret Chiefs 3's little brother, if you will. And I believe this is their second album. And it's just all over the place. It has, so a lot of the more calm moments I think are like really dramatic, sort of theatrical, movie score kind of stuff, but really intense, really like, it's not just like boring classical music. It is not quite an orchestra, but maybe like a chamber orchestra of 10 players or so, just with a great sound and just really, really dramatic songwriting. The album does have a story that I've never really bothered looking into, but like usually I still wouldn't care at that point, but there are lots of just really, really poignant moments in songwriting that make the strings interesting and catchy and memorable, and the melodies are just really, really well thought out and well done. And then at any point, if it shifts more into like a kind of a rock sort of area of style, there's drums there to kind of help those moments along and give it an inertia. And at times it even works itself into sort of a metal sort of realm. The drummer is really, really talented. In fact, the drummer, I think, went on to play in Deserts of Traun and a lot of other metal things. He's insanely talented. He also, I think, had an entire episode of Radical Research dedicated to him because he's played in so many different things. I just can't remember his name right now. By the way, speaking of Radical Research, Jeff Wagner, who is a darling and just a king of a person, has sadly seen his entire home and lost several cats burned to the ground. Man, that was like a fucking dagger in my heart to see. But really, really happy that he has made it safe. So apparently they bought a little cat warming sort of mat on Amazon that is like notoriously known for causing fucking fires. And this thing has caused a fucking fire and nearly killed my friend Jeff. So I won't get much more into that tragedy, which I am very angry about. But there is a GoFundMe link down below if you want to throw Jeff and his wife some money to help them out. Right now they are just living in Airbnbs on the floor, trying to figure out how to get their life back together and help their cat. They had, I think, a dog and 2 cats survive the fire. I'm so thankful that they lived and survived and have a couple of pets out of that, but just what a goddamn tragedy. But so it is time, metal community, to pull out your wallets, throw the people some money, help them figure out where they're going to get their next meal from until they get their insurance, you know, and all that set up. I'm truly, truly happy that they lived, but really saddened to hear that not just that Jeff Wagner's and his wife's belongings are gone, but also when things like that happen, like when Nessa Blood burned down last year, I was just like, there are so many items in that store where there was just probably like only 30 copies left in the world, and now there's one less of those things. When those rarities burn, I know it's just like, it's almost horrible of me to say, but it's almost objective, it's like materialistic to say, but it breaks my heart to hear that some rarities like that, you know, are just puffed in thin air. I'm going to end with maybe the thing that I have been listening to the most over the last few weeks. This has been an album that I return to every now and then. Okay, so I'll take you back to maybe 2005 or so. A friend of mine's putting on a show in Cedar Rapids. I said, you know, I'll go, see what's up. I might have even played that show. I don't even know, with my old band Cannibal Horse. But this band rolls up from St. Louis. The singer has no shoes or socks on, and he's just like pitter-pattering around on the carpet in this show, and I'm just like, what is this gonna be like? And they commence to absolutely lay waste to the probably 28 kids who were there to witness this. They performed incredibly. Super seasoned musicians. After the show, we wound up hanging out, and their performance just has stayed with me so much that I have gone back and listened to this over the years and just marveled at what it is. But for some reason, just never wound up picking up a copy of it until finally I decided it is time that I pick up this thing. Again, an unassuming cover that doesn't really live up to what the album is, but here you are. Lye By Mistake is the name of the band, and the album Arrangements for Fulminating Vective is what it is called. Here's the little... Jesus Christ! Bootleg got me crying over here. So there's the guys. So this is definitely metal, and there is a lot more... There's a lot going on. There's a ton going on. I'll tell you. So, for fans of Dillinger Escape Plan, Mr. Bungle, and John McLaughlin, But also somebody made another good comparison. What was it? Can't think of his name. Anyways, so definitely from the math metal sort of world of Dillinger's Escape Plan. It's highly technical, but I think most people, I myself included, often can go, okay, yeah, I can tell there's a lot of calculating and math going on, and a lot of practice went into writing and recording these songs, but ultimately it's boring and I don't care. I am there sometimes, pretty regularly. This stuff is just fascinating, how they work in so many tangential elements and come back to the root core of just ripping songs. It's absolutely adventurous. It's something you can pick up on the cheap for probably $5-6. Totally glossed over kind of thing from back in the day. Lamb Goat put this out. I don't know if you remember Lamb Goat. But it is a fascinating album. And if you feel like, you know, branching out there and putting on something that is very, very unique, these guys were insanely talented. Give this a go. It is really, really fun. There's, I would say maybe like, if you want to like break it down elementally, it's like 60% metal and maybe like 20% of this genre that I don't really listen to very much because it's usually kind of boring, but I feel like melding it in with the metal makes it really, really fun, and hearing how they expertly work parts in congruously so well is just amazing. But I don't really even know what to call it. There's a genre of just kind of like shred guitar, prog stuff that, whatever, I don't know, Tony McAlpine kind of stuff that is good and you know, it's just not really my wheelhouse kind of thing. But like I said, hearing it, you know, worked into the metal kind of format is really, really cool. And this is just a really, really unique, awesome release. Check out Lye By Mistake. Arrangements for Fulminating Vective. So there, I believe, is 10 albums that you probably won't check out. So I hope you do. I'm here to tell you that you should, and this stuff is good. Most of it, anyways. And so I did a collection update. There you go. So watch a lot of ads to get through my fucking video, and we'll see you next time. And speaking of ads, you know, Patreon. Woohoo! That was a great video, and it was made possible mostly by me, but also thanks to the undying and kind support of my Patreon subscribers. Thank you all. I love you. If you are interested in being a part of my Patreon channel and supporting what I do, you are welcome to join at the URL below. It is only $6.66 per month, and you're going to love it.